Hello and welcome to NoCB, a grand strategy podcast for the week of the 10th of February, 2021. I'm your host, Liana, and I am here with our fantastic panel, including Rose.
Hello.
Including Lambert.
Hello there.
And including Father Loris.
What's up?
And it's a fairly big week for news in that we got two DLCs announced in the same week, which I think they have done that before, if I remember right. I know there were a couple times that DLC for two different PDS games came out like on the same day. It was like a
it's been a while.
rush to get content out for it. Yeah, as far as
I
announcing,
have mentally blocked it away just from the stress of it.
yeah, as far as
announcing
two in the same week, I'm not sure if they've done that before.
And Imperator's coming out next week. So
yes,
it's just it's been a very memorable and monumental week.
Yes, fantastic transition because we got an Imperator dev diary about it's an update on the monument system, which my theory is that this was originally going to be its own patch, and then they decided to fold Vitruvius into Marius after the feedback was not so great.
Yeah, I do recall my video being called something along the lines of my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined.
Yeah.
But the dev diary after that was about the UI. So the video title for that one was my elation is immeasurable and my day is made, or something like that. Like
nice.
just flipping it around. So that was nice. But yeah, I wasn't initially very happy with the wonders. Announcement.
So this is what I believe the secondary studio is working on. I forget what is the name of
Thalassic.
Thalassic, yeah. I'm not sure, like, Lambert, since you follow Imperator a little bit more closely to me, is there anything, like, really new that we didn't see in the last dev diary about monuments here?
God, I'd have to go back and look at the old dev diary, if I'm being honest. I can't remember what we were actually shown before. There's some pretty pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one that looks kind of like an Eastern temple, so that might be some Tibet content for Loris.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It's really hard because I'm not allowed to really talk about it. It's like I know that there's I'm allowed to say I do have access to 2.0, so therefore I'm not allowed to give my opinions on it yet.
Yeah,
even the stuff that's in the dev diary right here, it's impossible to mentally disconnect what I'm reading with what I've experienced. So it's easier to just not.
I think it's safe to say that you will be hearing a lot more about Marius from all of us next week. It's
yes,
probably a safe assumption.
As soon as I am able, then let's go from there.
So next week, big Imperator section probably as we pour over the DLC.
We'll probably be showing it on stream as well as when we talk about it.
I believe we certainly could do that. Yeah, that's the day after it releases. So, yeah.
Lambert's opinion. Oh boy, this sure is a patch with stuff in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could give an opinion because I don't have a key. So the buildings are pretty.
What do you think of
We'll definitely be playing Imperator again. You know, now that we have a whole bunch of updates and the UI doesn't hurt my eyes anymore and make me feel like I'm playing a game back in the late 90s.
Yeah, it was not the greatest UI. I won't miss it.
I kind of like the marble. Not gonna lie, I know the Romans and the Greeks, they painted their statues. I understand this. This is common knowledge at this point. But at the same time, if you show a picture of like a white marble statue, that gives this mental connection between, it's fucking antiquity with the Greeks and the Romans. They had white statues. Because that's the general consensus of what those civilizations looked like.
Be careful,
it's
Lambert.
Not true. But it doesn't matter. It's that mental connection.
Yeah, but I think it was the fact that the UI before was so big and chunky. It didn't really fit with what we expect from video games currently.
Yeah. And it was just too much of like one color. Like, I don't want everything to be beige. It reminded me of like model homes in like the suburbs. Like everything's beige because they just don't want to offend anybody. It was way too much beige. You gotta have significantly less beige.
It also took me about a year to realize that the little pictures in like the military tab and the economy tab and all these, those are supposed to be Greek gods. Took me about a year to know that.
Oh, really?
No, this is the blue button. This is the green button.
They told us that at like the first preview event. But
I have a terrible memory.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of Imperator this week, but there will be lots and lots of Imperator next week for those of you that are interested. I think everybody will have the DLC by then too, so you can talk about it in chat.
And honestly, I think part of the thing with the old UI for me is it reminded me a lot of Pharaoh for some reason, which is an old game.
No, I was talking about how it seemed like it fell out of like a 2006, budget
Pharaoh's
strategy.
When did Pharaoh come out? Because I know I played it well before 2006.
In the comments, wait, they're gods? Yes, apparently.
It'd be meant to be the 90s Pharaoh, right?
It has to be the 90s. It came out in 99. Barely in the 90s, October 31st. But it was the 90s.
Oh. There you go.
I like the aesthetic too. It's just, it doesn't feel right for a modern game.
I don't mind it. It's like all the old ones. Like if you look at Stronghold, for example, that's the same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it wasn't the big clunky CGI faces that a lot of strategy games seem to have in the corner of their screens.
Stronghold definitely had that, but it was so charming.
There's a new Stronghold game coming out very soon, by the way.
Yeah,
I've actually played the demo of that as well.
Oh, I haven't played it yet. Yeah,
I believe I'm allowed to give opinions because I was allowed to stream it. So it's not bad. It's set in China. You've got a lot of Chinese units, and you've got what's the the launch fireworks that explode in your face and kill you. Yeah, those units. They're pretty strong.
I don't know what the specific name for that military unit is, but I know what you're talking about.
The flying throws or something flying. They're in Age of Empires as well. Age of Empires 3.
I think the literal name is just whatever the Chinese is for rocket launcher. I'm pretty sure.
They were the unique.
The Hellstorm rocket battery from Total War Warhammer.
Yeah,
it's literally that.
Yeah. Well.
Speaking of China and a game that actually includes China, EU4.
Rose once again with the clutch transition. Let's play this trailer for the just announced EU4 Leviathan.
Yes. Let me get that up for you guys. Uh-oh, watch out. Mild language.
Crap. There's mild language in this.
You watch a podcast with me on it, and you need to worry about mild language.
Yeah, Lambert I wouldn't describe as mild.
Can I just say that the name Leviathan makes me feel like it should be a Stellaris DLC, not an EU4?
Well, there literally did have a Leviathan DLC.
There was a Stellaris. I mean, I think because they tend to name expansions after books from the early modern period, I think they're referencing Thomas Hobbes, the Leviathan, but then also kind of like, it's Southeast Asian maritime countries.
And I want to know where the mild sexual themes were in this trailer.
I don't know. The lady at the top is wearing kind of skimpy clothing, maybe. I don't know.
It's a full harness. Like it's got full straps. They're more than 3 finger lengths wide.
Man. Oof.
Yeah, you can see her armpit. That's that's certified lewd. Yeah,
that's the rating for the game, though, right?
I mean, I guess he's shirtless.
Are any of those towers phallic?
That woman has boobs, so that's mature. I mean, I guess there can be no female streamers then.
Obviously not. Why would
okay.
we? No political streamers. Let's be fair.
So here's an interesting thing though. That guy on the left right there, that is an Aboriginal Australian with a boomerang.
He is.
Which they have not done in Australia Dev Diary yet, but somebody pointed out in the comments that in one of the previous Dev Diaries, I don't remember which one it was, you could barely see the outline of Australia in religion map mode, and the color was not animist red. It was like a light blue. So it seems like, especially if they're making one of the 4 main characters on the DLC key art is an Aboriginal Australian, that probably means that we're going to be getting some Australia stuff.
You're probably right.
I would imagine that they would probably use similar mechanics to the like North American Plains natives, where they have like soft control over areas and can migrate and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested to see how that's going to work.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Right? So, also based on what Johan has said, there is still a lot. It seems like a lot of dev diaries still to come for this expansion that we haven't seen yet. Like I sorry I didn't grab it before the show, but like he posted a list of stuff that they haven't talked about from Leviathan yet, and it's like, yeah, we've got at least like 6 or 7 more dev diaries before this comes out. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be not just for EU4, but maybe total in terms of like content, the biggest DLC Paradox has done. There's just an insane amount of stuff.
Do we think this is the Holy Fury of EU4? The last hurrah?
We said that about Emperor.
Yeah, I thought Emperor was. I mean, I don't know.
But this has been even bigger.
It hasn't, though. Right, this is the 28th dev diary for this DLC, Leviathan. Mm-hmm. Emperor had 63.
Oh my god.
We've got less than half so far.
Huh.
Yeah, I think Emperor ended up having more dev diaries than the base game did.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Century had like 8. It wasn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, they said when they announced Paradox Tinto, which is Johan's studio, they said it was being founded to work on the Europa Universalis franchise. They didn't specifically say EU4, so I would imagine they're at least talking about EU5 at this point. I don't know if it's in development yet. I would assume that it's something that's under discussion. As far as, if they want to keep updating EU4, there's still places to go. Like, you can still do Western North America. You can still do Trans-Andean South America, which has almost nothing still. There's like 3 migratory tribes out there that never do anything. Yeah, I mean, if they're filling in Australia, yeah, we are kind of running out of places that we have like any material evidence about that you could base any sort of content on. But I don't know, like they can go back and do what they did with Emperor to all the other regions of the world. Like they could just keep adding flavor forever, technically.
I prefer.
The thing about this though is they're adding monuments, which is interesting that EU4 is finally getting monuments.
Yeah,
everyone else has them. I want them too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. CK2 got them, and then Imperator's getting them, and now EU4 is getting them.
It just seems like one of those mechanics that translates really well across games and that they should use in all of their games, like pops.
And mana. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, the monuments are fairly long-lasting. Like, as a general rule about them, like, we wouldn't think so highly of them if they lasted for about 10 years and then fucked up. Although, having said that, the Colossus of Rhodes was only standing for like 50 years. So I take that back.
I'm really looking forward to what Anambra does with these monuments, to be honest. I mean, considering the only EU4 I've been playing for the past few months is Anambra. Every time I look at a dev diary now, I'm just going, how's that going to work in the mods?
Yeah. I think about that a lot.
When is an Anbanar comic coming out?
Oh, when I can...
Yeah.
You need a dwarf comic. I think there's so much potential there.
I just need a comic full stop. When I can actually put stylus to tablet without wanting to have a breakdown. when the pubs reopen, I want to go to the pub. I want to de-stress.
This is where he
So you need to write to the Welsh government and tell them to reopen the pubs, or you will never get any more
environments.
Oh
my God.
my own home is not safe. I've got no stairs.
I've got no stairs. I've got I'm just demolishing stairs everywhere I go.
Well, so how can you enter the pub with no stairs?
Oh yeah, that's the first thing I do. As soon as I get to my local, I'm demolishing the stairs. First thing I do.
So we need to mod in to Southern Wales. We need to mod in a great project that's just Loris's stairs.
It's like that painting, just stairs going everywhere.
Yeah. At the final third level, you get that whatever hot water tap for tea thing it is that you're installing in your house.
No. You don't do bloody hot water for tea. What's wrong with you? You put the cold water in the kettle. Oh.
I'm sure I mentioned this before in this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm getting a pipe, which I've half installed, with one of those instant boiling water taps on my desk. So I can have instant boiling water for my cups of tea on my desk.
Yeah,
I think
he's
innovation.
Combining the kettle with the pipe.
Yeah, that sounds like some black magic bullshit to me.
It's the Welsh improving things.
So what bonuses?
They never do anything of the sort. What are you talking about?
what bonuses in
there's two
EU4?
things that Wales has invented. This thing I'm inventing now, this instant hot water, and the high pressure steam engine, and that's it. That's all we've contributed to the world.
Wasn't the high pressure steam engine invented by Thomas Stevenson?
No, it wasn't. It was
well, he installed it from a Welshman who didn't protect it, clearly.
No, it was Richard Triffitt. Actually, how do you know? Robert Stevenson had
what kind of coal did he have in it then? Was it bituminous coal?
It was Blenavon, yeah. It was bituminous coal, I'll have you know.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So what kind of what province modifier in EU4 would your instant hot water tap give?
Oh, instant water. I don't know actually. I don't know. Plus 10 innovativeness. Just flat out.
Yeah.
Minus 10 productivity.
Production efficiency down in the floor.
Yeah.
So we got to see a couple examples. The Hagia Sophia obviously gives you tolerance of the true faith and tolerance of heretics, which is kind of interesting. I guess because it's been a church and a mosque and even before that, I think.
Not at the time they're looking at it.
That's true. It has not been a mosque yet. So
it will become one though.
Yes.
Have been a museum later.
Unless you as the player get involved, because I don't think Byzantium ever survives unless the player gets involved.
When it does, it's on Reddit.
Oh yeah, if AI Byzantium survives,
blue herring moment.
Yeah, that's free karma. If you have AI Byzantium survive in your campaign. We got to see Himeji Castle, local defensiveness, minus local unrest, pretty much what you'd expect. Alhambra, which interestingly does not serve as a fortification. Not that it really did in the early modern period. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't give any sort of defensiveness bonus though, because until the really big long range cannons come along, I'm pretty sure if you fix that thing up, it would still be at least somewhat useful as a fortress.
It is, however, the most powerful one in this list by far. Admin efficiency plus 15% is insanely overpowered.
Huge. That's huge. I mean, it's going to take a very long time or a lot of money to build any of these up to their final level. It takes 50 years per level, and you can spend 300 gold or 10,000 manpower to reduce that by 2 years. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's not going to be easy to get a level 3 monument. The one I found the most interesting though, which ignites my pipe dreams of restoring the proper Celtic pantheon to Britain, is that Stonehenge, it only gives you a bonus if you're in the pagan religion group.
Yeah.
Which makes me hope that maybe there's like an event chain tied to Stonehenge now where you can convert back to paganism.
That would be pretty epic.
If you build up Stonehenge, yes.
It's almost like, apparently I am not allowed to appreciate Stonehenge because I'm not a pagan.
Well, to be fair,
I'm not allowed to go to Canterbury and look at the cathedral in Canterbury and say, oh, that's a pretty nice cathedral. I'm not allowed to do that because I'm not a Christian. I hate these things. I absolutely despise the fact that, I'm not allowed to get any bonus whatsoever from this thing that's in my country because I'm not that religion. It's the same in CK3. It's terrible.
To be fair, I think not many people gave a shit about Stonehenge until the Victorian period, and the invention of like archaeology.
I mean, if they didn't give a shit, it would have been torn down and used for materials like the Hadrian's Wall. The fact that it still stood in the shape that it is proves that someone cared.
Yeah.
Maybe it should give like a different benefit if you're not like, because it wouldn't really make sense for
prestige,
it to give missionary strength. But yeah,
the most minor amount of monthly prestige would absolutely fix my issue with it.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. You can also move it, and like it just seems
that seems stupid to me.
It is. It also just seems weird that they would give you the ability to do that if there's not going to be a way to get any benefit from it without using custom nations. I don't know.
Or importing a game from
CK2
CK2
specifically.
Right, yeah.
Stonehenge has stood there for fucking thousands of years. Unmoving for thousands of years.
It sounds like something the British would
longer than the fucking
though.
bricks of Alhambra were there.
How many British
there longer than Himeji Castle? Those
Lambert,
can't be bloody
how many
moved.
monuments and things have the Brits moved from other parts of the world?
Very few. We take parts of them. We don't take the entire thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Alhambra used a few more rocks than Stonehenge did. Like, just a few. I don't think you can
brick
really...
by brick. It's like
I like
London Bridge
Bennett's
got
plan
moved to
here.
Australia,
Why don't you
brick
play
by
as
brick.
the Aztecs, go invade Great Britain, pick up Stonehenge, and move it to Mexico?
Why would the Aztecs give a shit about Stonehenge? What is the
because it would
for them?
make a
Because they're
great pyramid
pagan.
to sacrifice people on.
You do it for the Reddit karma. That's the only reason anyone does anything.
It's so dumb. Like,
look,
no.
I started as the
I don't
Aztecs.
like the moving thing.
Yeah, Kazi. Kazi guy is right there, Lambert. You guys took needles from Egypt. The whole thing.
Yes. I think this is going to come up in a topic later. I don't want to get into it right now, but it's not as fucking maliciously evil as everyone makes it out to be.
Well, I think also that's that time period when people were moving monuments is the Victorian era, right? Which is not this.
Yeah, it was only the British really doing it. We kickstarted the let's give a shit about history movement.
You also
I
ate
think
mummies.
The French did the hell of
We
a lot
did
of
do
stealing
that.
shit.
People in those times were, they had some weird beliefs.
And they turned like mummies into paint for walls, or was it wallpaper too?
Yeah,
Mummy
no,
dust
it's
from special
mummy
color.
brown. Yeah, it's pre-Raphaelite artists used it.
Mm-hmm.
Brown color.
I guess it was pre-asbestos. You had to put something in the walls that was dangerous.
It's all right. You can't. I imagine every single pre-Raphaelite piece of art is cursed or something now.
Yeah.
I hope there's a lot more on this then too, because there's a lot of monuments which you can build during the time period, right? I'm thinking of like, the Palace in Lhasa, the Forbidden City,
Versailles.
Versailles, yeah, of course.
You can have one for the pyramids of Giza as well.
I wonder if we're going to get another Div Diary telling us we can build monuments, because it feels like you should.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah.
You should be able to.
Pick
It's
the
like
bonuses.
the best part of monuments CK2 was being able to build them.
Right.
Yeah. Should be unique too, I think. But yeah. A little bit of variation maybe. Have a choice of having the Beijing, like the Forbidden Pass in Nanjing or Beijing or wherever your capital is. But I don't think you should be able to build a Brandenburg Gate in anything other than the Brandenburg Gate, or I don't know, the Arc de Triomphe in anywhere but
Right.
Target or something. Or those are cool things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some sort of things like that.
Can I make a quick comment about the Paradox Tinto icon too? I don't know if you've seen the icon. Oh, it's the platypus skeleton with like sun beams coming off it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really nice little logo, right? It's like it's sunny down in Spain, it's pretty, it's nice and thematic. I was talking to my friend about it. She said it looks like stink lines, and now I can't unsee that at all. And now it's just a stinky platypus skull.
And now you've given that gift to all of us.
Well, the other little bit of somewhat new information we got is that Leviathan, from the Steam description, it says that it's going to be all about new tools that allow you to play tall with smaller and more focused realms, with a few centers of power. It gives you ways to quickly develop your capital, drawing resources and power from vassals or newly conquered territories, and allows you to build beyond your province's construction limit if you're willing to pay the price. I like all of that as someone who I prefer to play tall over wide in most strategy games. Yeah, I like that. I'm looking forward to seeing what these new mechanics that they have not told us about yet are.
On the topic of the wonders as well, in the comments somebody asked, would putting the Suez Canal, Kiel Canal, Panama Canal in the system be a good idea? And the answer was just a smiley face and you will know soon. Which I'm going to read that as just yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would read that as a yes.
Yeah.
If it was a no, he wouldn't have responded.
Yeah. Right. So
there's a lot of dislikes on my diary. I didn't actually read the comments. What were people's,
I'm seeing a lot of people
concerns?
saying that it was like a dumbed down, quote unquote, version of the CK or the Crusader Kings mechanic. Yeah.
Because you can't build them, or if you can, they didn't mention it at all in the Stev diary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also,
Like
why the hell would you lock
without
bonuses from Stonehenge to pagans?
Yeah,
see, that's the part that is confusing me.
Where's that? Fucking give that one a like.
Zetfield, yesterday at 10:09.
Yeah, no, that absolutely, it's so dumb.
I can't think of a different bonus to have with it, though. Prestige doesn't seem to make sense because no one was looking at Britain or England, I guess, at the time, going, "Oh wow, we've got Stonehenge, how prestigious!"
I expect nothing but some new achievement called Reverse Elgin. Steal Stonehenge from the English as Greece or Byzantium.
Yeah, no, that's probably going to happen. Is that like a hot button political issue right now? Would they jump into that debate?
What right now? The Elgin Marbles have been a complete. Since the Victorian era, the Elgin Marbles have been
it's only really blown up recently. People have only given us shit recently.
I think it's only because
50 years ago.
No. What's happened is Americans have discovered the controversy and then it's blown up.
That's fair.
Here's someone sad that Hoi 4 doesn't have monuments.
I mean,
they did bring up Rome too, though.
I guess aircraft carriers would be the monuments of Hoi 4. That's
a stretch.
Just a bit.
It's a floating city. It costs a lot of resources.
To be honest, I normally build like some sort of massive, ridiculously pointless flagship in Hearts of Iron just because it's cool. And to be fair, a lot of countries did that anyway. I mean, you look at the Yamato, battleship. It was didn't it just sit in dock for most of the war, and then it left and got damaged and had to go back to dock.
I mean, that's pretty much how my navy works in Hoi 4 anyway. I don't have enough oil to really do anything with it, so my big ships just sit in port until I throw them all at the enemy and then they sink. So, yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they could make it so that you could build this in Hoi 4, and that's a wonder.
Fair point.
Yeah.
It's a railgun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a gun that was too big to ever be used. It didn't work.
I would definitely,
It was one of those weapons that would won Germany the war. Blah.
I would love to.
Weapon.
I would love to see like crazy wonder weapons added to Hoi 4, but this was actually an idea that I think it was Rowan from 3 Moves Ahead had, where like it could be randomized which ones would actually work, so you wouldn't know. because that's one of the problems with Hoi 4 and its ability to model how the leaders actually thought in World War II. Like, nobody actually really knew if the Manhattan Project was going to work. But obviously, if you live in the 21st century and you're playing a World War II game, you're like, hey, nukes are really good, let's build nukes. But it's like they were spreading their research budget around to a lot of things that they weren't sure were actually going to pan out. And it would be interesting if at the beginning of a game of Hoi 4, it selected which ones of these super weapons were actually going to be viable. You had to kind of guess which ones.
I know I'm not like the biggest Hoi 4 player
to invest in
at all, really. But from my recollection, nukes are kind of shit. Like, all they do was lower their
the only
surrender.
Time they're really useful is if you're trying to defeat Japan, because Japan will surrender if you nuke them.
Yeah.
Well, and you can, if you cannot, if you have no way to conquer their last remaining victory points, or they can also be good against like really concentrated infantry formations because they'll cause a lot of casualties and sap manpower. But yeah, they're not that great strategically for the amount that you have to invest into them.
I also is it dropping nukes on Japan makes them surrender? Is that like hard-coded, event-driven?
Yeah, it's event.
It is now. It didn't used to be, but I think it is now, yeah.
Because before,
I don't know if this is controversial or not, but the Russians caused them to surrender, not the nukes.
Well, that's also another event. Like, so if Russia conquers all of Korea, or if all of Korea's lost, then this event's a decent amount too. So
yeah,
it covers both their bases on that.
Yeah, if you just go dropping nukes on random countries, I think it lowers. I think it lowers their war support every time you do it, so it will affect their surrender chance. But yeah, with Japan, there's like some hard coded stuff.
Yeah, not a fan of that. I mean, I don't play Hoi 4, so it doesn't affect me at all. But that's like Valigan says, that's very the American propaganda bullshit. That is.
Anyway,
my big controversial opinion on that is
propaganda.
That, Japan didn't unconditionally surrender because they had a amnesty on the royal family and all their relatives, including one of the royal families who were involved in the Nanking massacre. So it wasn't unconditional surrender. It was very conditional surrender.
I just read a book about Japan. Well, it wasn't specifically about Japan in World War II, but it went over Japan in World War II and the fact that they decided to charge people based on being part of the grand conspiracy to like take over the world or anything. But the thing is, nobody actually had a plan. The Japanese invasion of China was going on, so a lot of people got off the hook because they were not implicated in a grand plan that actually didn't exist because nobody really knew what was going on. It was kind of a continuous rolling disaster. Japan's entire involvement in that war.
It was basically the army and the navy doing their own thing. While the government supported them massively. And like people who ask questions like, what are we doing? Does anybody know what the plan is? They would just immediately get voted out of office. Yeah. And there's a lot of purging going on. Yeah. So if you asked questions, you got purged. Yeah, it's not.
I think Hearts of Iron has never really attempted to cover the political side of the war at all. It's a war game. You move your units fight. The political side, brushed upon.
They're trying. Like the Turkey focus tree, I think, does a pretty good job of modeling the internal tensions. The U.S. has the whole Congress mechanic, but it's like everybody was kind of behind the war, so I don't know how much that actually matters. Yeah. I mean, you can't really do it in the time period, obviously, because you can't do it without brushing upon the Nazis, right? Which is right.
No one likes brushing up on the Nazis.
No,
yeah, exactly.
You don't want to.
Going into the political situation, considering the fan base of Hoi 4 already, is just adding gasoline to a forest fire.
Yeah,
it's not a good idea.
No.
Yeah.
But do you know what is a good idea?
Taking over the entire galaxy.
The end crisis.
Yes.
Oh yes, yeah.
The Nazis of a galaxy.
Yes, become the end crisis.
We got Stellaris. Nemesis was also announced this month, and let's play that trailer.
I mean, anything with the subtitle Nemesis is poisoned in my brain already. Like, I can't think of anything.
I was just picturing Patrick Stewart fighting evil Patrick Stewart.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
All I can think of is Warner Brothers copyrighting the fucking Nemesis system. This was a really good trailer. Like, is this the first one where they've had, like, full 3D models, like, animated like that?
I was a little bit disappointed with it just because their old trailer producer left, and man, he was so good at creating like emotional, scenarios. Like all of the old Stellaris trailers just like, they tugged at your heartstrings, and I didn't feel like this one really did that as much, but it is a very good.
You don't feel for the blue dude?
No, because like there's not like a monologue about my family back home or whatever. So, yeah.
They didn't manipulate your emotions, you mean?
Exactly. That's all I really want from any kind of art is to manipulate my
Corporation,
emotions.
please manipulate me.
Exactly.
I think I unmuted you guys at a weird moment.
Oh, glorious.
We'll fix it in post. So, this dev diary, it's all about the mechanics for becoming the endgame crisis, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. You can build up menace, you can eat stars, you can gain bonuses as you go along that will make the galaxy more and more mad at you.
You can become menacing.
Yes. The one thing that kind of stuck out to me about this is it seems like this is very, very tied to the Shroud. Whereas, like, if I'm playing a Machine Empire and I want to be the endgame crisis, I would rather have, like, a storyline specific to that. So I'm curious if this is going to be the only Nemesis track, or if you can possibly get different Nemesis tracks based on your ethics and what type of empire you are.
Well, they've got the three different, like, endgame paths, really. They've got the cybernetics, they've got psionics, and they've got the genetics. I have a feeling that they're going to have something for each of them.
That would take my excitement for this to another level. If there's going to be multiple different become the crisis scenarios.
I mean, the Shroud is definitely if I'm right, the Shroud is the psionic one.
Yeah.
Right.
But isn't that the symbol for hive mind or the robots? I forgot.
That's robotic hive mind.
Right, robotic. Okay. And it's talking about the Shroud, though. So why would the robots be going to the Shroud?
Don't kill my hype.
Yeah. I mean, that would be somewhat disappointing if there was only one scenario in which you could become the crisis, and
don't hive minds also have that symbol
tied to?
No,
that one specifically is machine consciousness. Yeah.
Machine consciousness.
Yeah, the hive mind's yellow.
Yeah. These perks look really cool. You can unlock new ship types, which I'm assuming are probably going to have new models. Or they probably wouldn't be making such a big deal about it.
Stars.
Yes. So you have to actually devour stars to progress your aetherophasatic engine, which they won't tell us what it's going to do, but I'm assuming it's probably bad.
Well, it's bad for everyone else. It's good for you. So, I mean, I would assume it takes you like to a new galaxy, new system.
Well, it phases your ethera, you know.
Yeah, maybe we ascend.
I didn't actually mean it to sound like that. Just rewind. I want my urethra to be phased, thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe, on top of being manipulated. Okay.
Manipulate me, daddy, a theraphasic engine frame.
Yeah. Like maybe we're gonna burn out this entire universe so we can ascend to the Shroud or something. That would be interesting. But yeah, I've always thought Stellaris works the best when you are the main instigator of conflict.
Agreed.
So this will play into that very well. I'm also curious if like going down this track will immediately lock out all of the other endgame crises, or if another crisis could trigger while you are being the crisis and then have some interesting special events with that. That might be kind of cool if you could.
But then you use all the intrigue stuff that we've been shown already to send that crisis somewhere else.
Or if you could like team up with the Unbidden or something, that would be cool. Or
That'd be
gain
awesome,
control of the Praetorian Swarm. Yeah, that would.
Yes, I would like that simply just because you get the biological ships, which I've been wanting for ages.
Rose is calling for a clip in chat.
Yes, I'm hoping. We've got Agmade in chat. We've got James. Both of them, I'm sure, know how to clip very well. Actually, I know for a fact Agmade does.
Look, in my defense,
You weren't sure where you were going with that, but you were hoping you would.
I was hoping something would come to me as I was coming. You know, it's just, you know, whatever. It's solid defense. There we go. Defense noted.
We have Alfred quoting the dev diary. There's no limit to the number of players that can pick it. It's a multiplayer game. Everyone picks to become a crisis. The crisis and.
That would be a really interesting multiplayer.
No one is.
Just to see who can destroy the galaxy the fastest. That would be pretty hilarious. Let me see.
200 stars to 0 in how many years? That's the new speedrun.
Is this how to optimize the game? You just like to make the game run faster, you just kill the stars until the...
I wonder, will there still be hyperlane connections to stars that are murdered? Because
I assume so.
Well, yeah, because they turn into dark matter deposits. They don't disappear off of the map. They also mentioned
shame.
They also mentioned on the expansion announcement page that you can also become the galactic custodian to combat the endgame crises, which I would hazard a guess is probably going to be similar to this Nemesis system, where there's probably different levels of it that you have to build up and get. It'd be kind of cool if like the crisis gets menacing ships and then the custodian gets like heroic ships that have their own models.
So basically what you're saying is that you can become Sheev Palpatine from Star Wars because he became the galactic defender against the extragalactic crisis, which was the Yuuzhan Vong.
Was that actually canon that he was trying to stop the Vong invasion?
I mean,
in old or Legends canon, which I don't know. Some people consider that to be the better canon. I won't get into that, but yeah.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, basically, you get to be Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, I guess that's one way of looking at it. Or
that's the way I choose to look at it.
Darth Revan, that was literally his story, is he wanted to.
Yeah, but Palpatine's cool.
So. Yeah,
God, Star Wars kind of so
cool
stupid.
As Revan, though.
It's so stupid. I hate it. It's like I think it's just designed to annoy me. It's like George Lucas sat down and says like there's a person called McGoogle McDarth Destroyer, and he's also like he's like some Sith Lord who ate stars for a living. It's like this is so stupid. I hate it. It's awful. You've intentionally made this bad.
I mean, it was based on Darth Vader is essentially a guy in a black samurai helmet who's part robot.
Also, isn't it in Spanish? His name is literally Dark Father.
Yeah,
it's
like big spoiler for the
except that wasn't
Spanish
intentional.
Viewers of the original film.
No,
Papadarko, is it?
Here's the thing: when he named him Darth Vader, he had no plan. Have you ever read Splinter in a Mind's Eye?
No.
It was originally going to be the sequel to the original Star Wars because he didn't think he'd have a big budget. So it all takes place on one planet. And Luke and Leia actually enter into a romantic relationship. Han Solo and Chewbacca aren't even around. And they're all chasing some gem.
Idea.
I
have no idea.
It's a ride. Is what it is. It's an absolute riot. Love it.
Yeah.
Hates
I have
And
a
it's
lot of
by
respect
Alan
for
D.
George
Foster, who is a really good sci-fi author. There it is. Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Luke and Leia chasing some gem. On some...
That gem could have been one of them, was it Kyber crystals? I can't remember what they're called.
Well, and I remember
Chaos
like
Emerald.
the original, like some of the original idea for Star Wars, like Han Solo was supposed to be like a frog monster or something.
Have you seen the really old clips of when they first meet Jabba the Hutt? It's literally like it's a human, like, and he's in his full costume and everything. And imagine being that guy. You go from, you know, you're in the movie as yourself. You've got your costume on, and then they dub over you with a big fucking slug, and you don't even speak. It's completely illegible. Illegible? Not illegible. You can't understand it, right? Imagine being that guy. Poor
I mean,
guy.
I can very much imagine being that guy. I am that guy.
Unintelligible, thank you.
Unintelligible slug. That's me.
Well,
It's a natural trait.
This might be, I don't know if this is even a question we can answer right now.
Would I prefer this over The Last Jedi? Yeah, obviously.
That's not what I was
What,
going to ask.
is that the question you were asking?
Okay, no, I was going to ask, okay, so because of, you know, NDA stuff, we probably can't include Marius or Heirs of Alexander in this, but but between Stellaris Nemesis and EU4 Leviathan, which of the upcoming DLC, or those of you who haven't played Heirs of Alexander could even include it in this, of the upcoming DLC that you have not played yet, what are you most excited about? Got to the point eventually.
I'm excited for
the first one. I could include it, but
Yeah.
E4, I think.
Yeah.
I think just for wonders. I think I really like wonders in games.
I think that's probably my answer too. Yeah.
More importantly, I'm looking forward to what's modding capabilities.
Yeah,
is on with it.
pretty much.
With the Stellaris, it does look good, but I think I'm more looking forward to the post-launch patch when I can get a big multiplayer game going and we'll know it's not going to be buggy. But that's what I'm looking forward to.
When are we expecting this? 2024?
Yeah.
No, it has made a lot of good strides towards not being buggy in multiplayer. But the problem is, whenever I play multiplayer Stellaris, we mod the fuck out of the game, and it returns to buggy state.
Yeah.
But like that's entirely our own fault.
Yeah. Rose, what are you most looking forward to out of these three?
I would just have to say Stellaris Nemesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because, well, part of it is I like the game. I like the base game of Stellaris more than EU4. I'm sorry, EU4 lovers.
That's fair.
I enjoy the early game of Stellaris more than EU4. I just
The fact we're getting
rate the mid-game.
spies and espionage in Stellaris is going to be big.
My excitement for Nemesis will go up quite a bit if we find out that the Shroud path is not the only become the Crisis path. That's what I'm holding my fingers for at this point, because I just want to be an all-devouring machine empire, an all-devouring like genetically advanced hive or something. That would be amazing.
It would be good. Well, you're basically inspiring rebellion amongst the other pots, right? So you like, you know, the Robo-Soviet Union or something. Essentially.
I'd say I'd have to go with Stellaris as well, because I mean, I've played a lot of EU4, and at this point, vanilla doesn't really do anything for me. For Stellaris, like the DLCs for Stellaris are way more game changing than the DLCs for EU4 are, and that's been the case fucking forever, and since Art of War maybe. Stellaris updates generally tend to be that much more exciting for me. I will probably still play more of EU4 Leviathans than I will Stellaris Nemesis, but I think I'm more excited for Nemesis.
Fair enough.
I think that's a common misconception. I think a lot of people have about the quality of something. It's like the more you play it, the more you think it's good, right? Which is not generally true. I mean, like even going back, if you can imagine like the orange box, like when Valve released that. I mean, I would say objectively, Portal is by far the best game objectively in that pack. But I've played way too much Team Fortress 2 to make it a better game, does it? It's just
I think it depends. I think with a strategy game, I expect it to be kind of infinitely replayable. I mean, like, one of my favorite games of the last 5 years is like What Remains of Edith Finch. I played it once. I don't know that I'll ever play it again. It was fantastic. So I kind of see the argument that like, the amount of time you spend on it is not an indication of quality. But, if I put EU4 side by side with Stellaris and it's like, I have played EU4 for thousands of hours. I will play it for thousands more. I just boot it up randomly because I feel like it any given, day out of the year, I could do that. Stellaris, I'll generally play 2 or 3 campaigns after a new DLC comes out, and then I'll put it down until another DLC comes out. Hearts of Iron 4, unmodded Hearts of Iron 4 is kind of that way for me too. There's lots of mods for it that I enjoy quite a bit that get me to play it more. But
for Hearts of Iron, I used to be, I'll play a single campaign, usually as Italy or Greece or something, every time. But now I think honestly, since the naval update, because the hump to learning how to navy is so large, I'm like, I don't play this game nearly enough to care to learn this, and now I don't bother with it anymore.
I feel like we're contractually obliged to like shout out Modded's guide to the Navy every time we mention the Navy. And
No, that's fair. That's fair. I did try. I did watch that series. It still made no sense to me. It's a good guide, but I didn't have the patience for it. I didn't have the passion to go for it. So it's like, it's whatever.
I love boats. Boats are cool.
Boats are pretty cool.
I do like boats as well. I just, I like to click on them and move them and stuff.
I like being able to sail a bunch of heavy ships up to a port and just take it over automatically. That's a fun thing to do with boats. But so I think that's all the news we have for this week. Rose, what have you been up to lately, and where can people find your stuff?
Mostly on YouTube currently, and did a CK3 DLC speculation video last week. There should be another CK3 video coming up this week, tomorrow.
I think Friday. They said it wasn't next week, but it's the week after that is when they said CK3 dev diaries would be resuming.
There was a tweet that just said middle of February, I believe.
Okay, so it could be next week.
Possibly.
Yeah, we don't know yet, or at least I don't know yet. But CK3 news this month for sure, yeah.
Yes, and then I guess might be playing some Imperator. Get a video up on that, taking a look at it.
Yeah.
And at some point I'll go live again on Twitch, hopefully tomorrow.
Nice. Rosebud's been very quiet this stream, unless he's with someone else.
He's downstairs with my sister. And,
wow.
Yeah. He's very chill today. He had his 9-month vaccines and didn't even cry when he got stuck with the needle. He was just too busy looking at this little baby app on my phone and didn't react at all. It was actually quite amazing.
Yeah, Logan was very quiet for his first vaccines. And then the second one was the most heart-wrenching, like, kill my heart in 1,000 pieces thing as he screamed the place down. It was horrible. I mean, the first one was great. I'm sure the second one will be great for you too.
No, Tommy's had it many times because he's 9 months old now. So he had 2-month shots, 3-month, or is it 2-month, 4-month, 6-month, 9-month? He only had one today.
Jeez, vaccinating your kids. What do you guys believe in, science or something?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
and in 9 months, he gets his MMR finally.
All right. Well, when the microchips turn them into zombies and they kill you,
I mean,
what,
we'll probably
like
turn them into like
his
superheroes
iPad
first.
and my phone and they can track you everywhere. What, like the thing that's in your pocket?
Yeah,
idiot.
Yeah, no, I point that out to people a lot. They're like, "Oh, yeah." I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't get too much of that, but yeah, Google basically knows where you are all the time.
This is not a science podcast.
Yeah. There are other countries where governments do that. Here, it's corporations. So yeah, and the government still has access to that information.
Probably don't endorse corporations tracking your location, I guess.
Yeah.
We don't endorse it, but they're going to do it anyway.
They're going to do it,
Lambert, of what you're allowed to talk about right now, what have you been up to, and where can people find your stuff?
I mean, you cut out there. Who did you ask?
It was Lambert, and I said of what you're allowed to talk about.
Of what I'm allowed to talk about, I've been doing stuff and things, and some things and some stuff.
Stuff and things.
I've been playing some Anbanar. Yeah. I've been playing some CK3. In my CK3 campaign, as the Hellenic Roman Empire, I've become the Roman Empire, and my empire did not stop being primogenitor, thankfully, because that would have ruined a whole lot of shit.
Yeah.
Coming up, there's going to be a review. I'm currently in the midst of writing a script, which I'm very new at doing, and don't really do scripts and stuff. But yeah, no, that's a thing. And yeah, there's going to be some Imperator content for sure.
Nice. Loris, what have you been up to lately?
Have you seen that image of like the little girl with a crayon crying as she's like drawing?
Yes.
That's that's been me for the past 3 months. Apart from like very much struggling to do anything, I've been building my stairs, doing some lime washing, doing some work on my house, just generally, stuck in an artistic rut.
Well.
You just need that pub to open.
Rose, what are you doing? And Rose has got, I've been playing this and this, and this is on my channel, this is on my channel. Lambert, what are you doing? I've been playing this and this, and this is on my channel, this is on my channel. Loris, what have you been doing? I built some stairs. Lime washed me house. That's... very relevant to the content of this podcast.
That's all I do these days. It's terrible.
It wouldn't be NoCB without like random home improvement updates from the Welsh countryside, though. That's what people actually come here for. They sit through like an hour and 15 minutes of grand strategy talk so they can hear more about Loris's...
This is what qualifies me to be on
improvement. I've shoveled like 2 feet of snow in the last 2 weeks.
I shoveled some 2 days. It's awful here.
We got 18 inches in one day, and then we got another 4, and then like another 5. There's been a lot of snow.
We have had very little snow for Colorado. Like Colorado, usually like February and March are 2 of our biggest snowfall months, and we've only had like a dusting, but it's been super windy, like insanely windy where I am. Like there was a day that I was
really
like
flat.
Well, I live like right by the mountains, basically in the foothills. So the area that I'm in, there's like a downward slope from the mountains with like no trees. This is, I mean, if anybody knows Boulder County, you kind of know how it works. So like when there's cold air up in the mountains and there's warm air down below, it just comes like whooshing down on us. And like, since it's so dry, it's blowing dust everywhere. It's like, it's not that great right now. So
delightful.
It's freezing here too.
I would rather have snow than than what we're dealing with, which is just dry and cold and windy.
Have you considered moving?
If I were
country, maybe.
I have considered moving. Of course, I'm probably gonna end up moving to like Norway or something, which is even colder. But coastal Norway is actually surprisingly warm because of the the currents, the air currents in the
Gulf
ocean.
Stream,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I found about Finland as well, is that the winters, they fucking suck because they're like really cold. But also the summers, they really suck too because they're really warm.
Yeah, that sounds like New York here. It gets
but if you like really hot summers, I mean,
does anyone like really hot summers?
No.
I mean, Australians maybe? I don't know.
I mean, if you're on the beach, but
I'm a polar bear. Yeah, I would rather that it stay below like 65 degrees forever. That would be my preference.
What's that in logical?
Even 70 is a bit warm. This is in freedom units.
I mean, 70 would kill a man. Like,
I'm speaking in freedom units here. I don't know how to do the Celsius conversion. I mean, I do if I stop and think about it, because it's. I mean, you can do it roughly by like half plus 32 or something like that, but it's technically like
something
what,
like that.
5/8 or I don't know.
To be heat's not too bad as long as it's in the
people keep saying I chose Finland. No, I chose a Finn. The Finland part, like, it was a bonus. It is a better country than where I came from, but like. It was the Finn that I chose.
There is the snow. I can't believe
you do Middlesbrough dirty like that. Terrible.
That is our poor mailbox, which I can't fix right now because I can't really get to it.
Yeah, that's a
It does seem a tad buried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a similar situation.
Like, that snow is beautiful. It's just white, mate. Just open up a new, Microsoft Word page. It's just as beautiful. It's just white.
Yeah, I do miss when I was a kid. I mean, like 1997, I remember was like the year that we got completely buried in a blizzard. But yeah, I do kind of miss, building snow forts and stuff like that. Colorado has like a wet, dry cycle, but it's all thrown off right now because, I don't know, the climate's deteriorating at an increasingly rapid rate. So I don't know.
Yeah, but like it snows, so global warming's clearly a hoax.
There we go.
Well, I've probably caused half of that because it's been so snowed. The only way to heat my house is like a little fireplace that I've had. And I'm been shoveling coal in to that thing like it's a steam locomotive.
What kind of coal is it?
Gold.
Coal update.
Coal.
All right.
Yeah.
Of course.
What kind of coal?
Yeah.
Good. It's my favorite kind of coal, that is.
The Rosebud was not amused or impressed by the snow.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Doesn't look like he's having the best time.
No.
Anyway, if any of you want to follow my stuff that is not necessarily weather related, I'm Lore Sworn Order on Twitch and YouTube, and we'll be resuming streaming with some AC Valhalla and also some Paradox stuff this week. I'm all settled in my new place, getting my acoustic paneling put up, and we'll be back on what I hope is going to be the new regular schedule. We'll see. So
sounds great.
Fun times. As always, you can follow the podcast pretty much everywhere that podcasts exist. And until next week, crossing our fingers for some CK3 news. We'll see you then.
And if you missed Rosebud, you can follow me on Instagram.
Oh, there you go.
And see pictures of him.
What's your
add your Instagram to the links now.
Enigmatic Rose 4.
All right.
Just give me a moment. I'll get it. Oh, I have to sign in. Oh,
prime Rosebud content. Yeah. All right. Later, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.